Welcome back to Out and About today. I'm talking with Stephen and Todd Shipley, foster parents, and we're getting their story and how you become a foster parent, and we're about to talk about what happens once you're approved. I do want to go back with one question. We talked about all the steps. How long from that first inquiry, or let's say the informational meeting, from the informational meeting to you are an approved foster parent, how long did it take, guys?
Yeah, we started roughly with the informational meeting, I believe January at the end, if not February. And
this was last year.
Last year, yeah. And it went all the way from trainings to home study till the very beginning of September, when we finally got notice that we were an approved home for foster care within the state. So just that long, 8-9 months in just trainings, getting certified, the whole gambit.
Yeah, and I do want to say this, and our timeline was a little bit longer than yours. Because of COVID, we took all our classes online. Was that the same for you?
Yes, and I think we were actually the first group that went through in the new online format. Normally they are in person.
Right. I think classes are still online. It does give folks an opportunity, though, that may have trouble making classes. I think for some folks, it's beneficial to do online. So just for folks at home, I want to make that point. And I do want to touch on a bit of the home study, because at the front end, they tell you it's an intensive, it is an intensive process, and it is. But we'll just speak to that. Speak to what does a home study involve in terms of paperwork and visits and references. If you could touch on that.
Yeah. Paperwork-wise, an insane amount of paperwork. I mean, they're asking you every question they can think of, rightfully so, to ensure that this is going to be a good family to certify as foster parents. They ask interviews between us together, individually. They interview your references, essentially your family members that you put on there, and it's asking them, are they good people? What do you think they will do with kids? I mean, anything they can think of. That was a very long process, very intimidating to anybody. So again, if people are going into foster care to do this quickly, they need to take a step back, look internally before they get to that process, because this process is very, very long, but also rewarding at the same time.
That's right. And once you get through the paperwork and the references, someone is going to come to your home. It's about making sure there's a safe space, right? And that you have the space for a child or more. And it's important to say you can be a foster parent whether you have kids or do not have kids. So let's get to, you're officially welcomed into the DCS family. And I know that feeling. It is a wonderful feeling. You're so, relieved and excited that you made it through the process. And it is 8 or 9 months in. How soon after you're approved did you all specifically get a call about a child that needs a placement?
So we got approved, I think about, I'll say noon one day. And no joke, not even an hour after we got approved and got notified, we began receiving phone calls for foster kids. That specific day, we actually got called 4 different times for 4 different groupings of kids. So it was immediate. I did not expect that. I thought there would be like a little delay, a period. They're going to get the paperwork in. No, we got approved. We were good to go. We were added to the list. And so it happened that same day.
And that speaks to, of course, the need for foster parents. If when we're approved, we're getting calls immediately. I remember my initial inquiry call. I asked, how many calls do you have to make until you get a placement? And the DCS social worker told me it could be 20, 25 calls before someone says yes, for a variety of reasons. So let's talk about that. You get a call. What are they telling you about the child? What are you learning? And what are you able to do in terms of navigating the answer?
In our case, I'll use the one kiddo that we accepted that very first day. When we get the call, they're calling with very limited information. They're really not sharing the names at that point. They're just saying the age of the kid, What's the scenario? Like, why are they coming in? Very limited information at that point. At that point, we can request an intake that's provided from DCS showing the kiddo's first name, their age, what actually occurred. Not the details, but was it neglect? Was it sexual abuse? Different things like that we're learning, very limited information. At that point, that's when Todd and I partner together and kind of go through it and see if it's a good fit for this one. We just sat there and asked our support worker that supports us personally what her thoughts are, what are her feelings. Is it going to be long term? Is it short term? What does reunification look like? Anything we can think of, we want to ask those questions because we need to determine if it's a good fit for our family. If it's not, then there is another foster family out there that can provide that loving and safe home. But we want to make sure it's a good fit for us because we do have pets. We live in an apartment, so we want to make sure that everything works right for this kiddo coming into our home.
Right. And again, now we've reached a good stopping point. We're going to take another quick break. But when we come back, we are going to talk specifically about the Shipleys bringing a child into their home. Stay with us.